we'll get those programs off and running. Continuing on, we'll continue the monthly core team meetings with OSFC representation now present, so we'll have that entity involved as well. Procure the final project agreement with the lead component included. OSFC will give a 3% on top of the budget for the lead accreditation for the building, so we'll get that budget established to the OSFC. Schematic design community preview and submission for approval will take place as well, similar to the POR approvals. Continue to engage the contractor, material suppliers, and local businesses, and beginning to have a bidders interest meeting sometime in February of 2008. That'll get everyone interested in the project, get all the local companies and everybody involved and aware of the project so that we can get good coverage and local coverage and edge participation in the bidding process.
One of the most asked questions at our breakout session at Lorain Community College a week or so ago was, how do I keep myself informed about the project so I don't miss a bidding opportunity? And the answer that we gave, and for folks that weren't able to attend that, was that, during these monthly updates, we're going to be communicating what packages are coming up, and I'm just going to highlight the one about the blueprinting. We're going to be shortly going out, and that's not necessarily a construction type bid package. We're also going to be using the school website. We're going to be making phone calls, and we're going to be having those bidders interest meetings that Scott highlighted so that we make sure that there are different facets of how we communicate on how contractors and other types of businesses can be involved in the project. Anything else, Robert?
Well, I think the special attention to the lead component of the project, when Elyria received funding from the state, the lead component was not necessarily in the overall mix of the funding source. But because of the state's push to try to be as environmentally sound and to make the buildings as sustainable as possible, they have adopted the lead as a move ahead on all brand new projects. Because of we still haven't signed all the project agreements, they are actually going back for Elyria to incorporate Elyria in that as an opportunity to, at a minimum, attain a silver rating. And so I think that is a perfect opportunity that OSFC not only sees that it's important for all the consciousness of using things properly out there, but also that they went backwards in time to offer that same opportunity to Elyria. So with that, I think we're finished with our formal presentation portion, and if there's any questions that you might have of what we're having.
John, with the lead certification, the lead certification wasn't in, as you said, our former estimates. What is going to be what will we have to do as far as the district to come up with our share of that? And approximately what will that be? Do you have any idea yet?
The 3% will be figured on the project cost, and in the case of Elyria, that's $55 million and change. You will split that, or what the OSFC will be looking for you to do is split that based on the percentage of state versus local share. How you fund that, they will be looking for a revenue source from you, whether it's from your bond issue or other revenue sources. I don't know that OSFC would mandate where that comes from, but they will be looking for a revenue source.
Yeah, I think the preliminary number is approximately your share of what that 3% might be will be close to $1 million.
I have a question regarding space related to the auditorium. Could you talk a little bit about, this would probably go into the building services spaces, but given the fact that we're going to be building a state-of-the-art auditorium, there were a couple of things that I didn't see in here that may have been included in the conversation. One is a media staging area, and the other is the capability for webcasting. Did that come up in the conversation at all?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I think the webcasting was part of the main POR which you guys have approved a few weeks ago.
So it will be incorporated.
Yeah, it's in part of the. I think it's part of the library. That's where that is. You know. And what was the other space you were saying?
Just a media staging area. So if in fact we had a major performance that we wanted to showcase on our WEHS television station and we needed a place to set up our cameras, is there a designated space in here other than what's outlined here for that to happen?
We have not designed the space over here allows you to have that special areas if you want, you know, but we have not laid out the floor plan for the auditorium yet. But when we get into the detail of it, as the POR is approved and we get into the schematic design of it, we will have that shown. And when you will see the next schematic design, you will have those spaces shown.
It just might be something to think about because in many cases, a lot of auditoriums aren't designed with that in mind.
Sure.
And it becomes problematic when you invite the media into a facility like that without appropriate space.
Absolutely.
Audience. Yeah. I'd like to open up questions to the audience. This is just the second time we're doing a question and answer, which is not normally how we conduct school board meetings, but during the construction process for the next couple of years, our first board meeting is a work session, which we will have updates from our architects and construction managers. And we would invite anybody in the audience who has questions to ask them any questions. It's kind of an open discussion time, and it's a way for us to communicate to you.
I know I had talked about the minority participation in this project. So far, have you had any minorities who've been part of the first bid package, which was for the abatement?
We have had a nice variety and a long list of contractors. We won't know exactly who bids that until Friday because a lot of folks will come, but they don't always give the bid. We have had some